Zoo Festival 2023. Hear live music from Major Lazer, Tiesto, The Chainsmokers, and more. Plus, all the madness backstage. Electric Zoo Festival, all Labor Day weekend, beginning Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, on Diplo's Revolution, Channel 52, and on the SXM app.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Formula One racing like SiriusXM. Let's go, come on! Hear every thrilling lap of a worldwide championship chase.
Verstappen takes the lead in the Grand Prix. Hamilton couldn't hold him off.
Comprehensive pre- and post-race coverage.
That was the best race I've ever seen.
And a weekly insider look at the F1 circuit every Wednesday on SXM Wheel to Wheel.
There's been plenty going on both on and off track.
The 2023 Formula One season on SiriusXM Channel 81 and the SXM app. To hear Formula One on SiriusXM, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I see.
Get ready for game day on College Sports Radio, Channel 84, with our roster of experts, including Danny Cannell, Jacob Hester, and Rick Neuheisel.
This is what college football fans have been clamoring for.
Plus, go in-depth with your favorite school on our Power 5 conference channels, 371 to 375. For a full list of matchups, go to SiriusXM.com/college football schedule.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal. Where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM and your music stays with you, whether you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Hear the passion.
Be aggressive. Get something done.
Hear the knowledge.
The game, folks, is about two plays. And that's what it comes down to.
Hear the personality.
I'm going to start here in an angry mood.
Get somebody on the radio! That has made him a sports talk legend.
Does that make any sense to you? God, you're crazy.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SXM app. Free for most subscribers. To listen to Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Mad Dog Russo, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
You deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritize customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada. With honeyed harmonies, tight grooves, and more exposed chest hair than any other channel, Yacht Rock Radio keeps you smooth all summer long. Cruise to soft rock from artists like Michael McDonald, Steely Dan, Boz Scaggs, and more. Yacht Rock Radio docked at Channel 14 through Labor Day weekend and year-round in the SXM app.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Grab your neon shades and some SPF 50 and let's get lit.
So hot.
will melt your popsicle. We're binging on sun-soaked 2010s bops. The 10-spot Summer Scorchers mix, now playing in the SXM app.
This is my jam.
And to keep riding that 2010s vibe, head to Channel 11 for the 10 Spot. To hear the 10 Spot Summer Scorchers mix, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or by visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe with 28 podcast applications. If you can Google it, what a great day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Want to be my neighbor. Shut up! It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I gotta make sure I'm on the PM when I'm doing my Welcome to the Neighborhood. I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. You can go by and test drive yours. Tell them sent you where the good Lord spits it. There's a whole driving a fleet of Cadillac cars all over the universe on a beautiful it's a hot August night on a beautiful August 29th in Deer Hills, California. Someone actually asked me, excuse me, sir, where is Deer Hills, California? I said, it's right where the good Lord sent you. You can follow the Big C Sports Podcast on 28 podcast applications all over the universe. On Amazon Podcasts, Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Castbox Podcasts, Deezer Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can find Big C Sports Podcast on Good Pods, GeoSavon Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, WePod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podyssey, Podcast Republic, and the only one that used to scare me, and then it stopped, and now it's scaring me again. It's allface.ai. The robots are taking over, giving the robots some praise, and they like this track. You also got to be able to turn them off. There's a secret, as you go to some burger places, it's called the Out and In Burger. Out and In Burger? What in the world is that? I just got to say it for whatever reason. But they have a special menu. You should be afraid if you don't know what makes the menu special. They have a private menu. It's a private room. You go to some clubs, they always have a private room where probably some illegalities are happening in the private rooms. If it wasn't illegalities going on, they'd probably make it a public room. If that makes sense to you. But be careful, because if you ever have a robot that's not listening, you got to do what Teddy Pendergrass said when he had the number one song in the history of the universe. He said, turn off the lights, light a candle. You see, there's something I want to do to you, baby. Turn them off. And when Teddy said turn them off, he made a lot of babies are born. Turn them off. How many words is turn them off? Is turn them one word? It can't be one word. Turn them off is either 2 words or 3 words. Turn them off. When Teddy said turn them off, was it 1 word? No. It was 2 words or 3 words, but it made you do one thing. It made you turn them off. And then people say light a candle, and rumor has it more babies are born when that song is number one all over the world. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I need more laughter. And then the commercials are done. I'm the only sports podcaster in the universe. I do all of my commercials pre-roll. I don't do pause in between unless I have a guest on. And then whatever the agency does, it does after the show. But I just produce the shows, the commercials, all of that jazz. I really do appreciate it. I provide the stats. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. Runners on first and third. The counts for the pitch. Curveball, swung on, and hit deep. Right field, down to the wall. All right. Say hello to my little Reds. They love seeing the girls love the long ball. and men love to hit deep. Everybody loves to hit deep, if that makes sense to you. And then the show is uploaded to 28 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Dimdale Hills, California. Never mind, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew. Really do appreciate how things have grown over the years. And everybody has their own flavor of how you do things. But what did the great Two Live Crew say? He said, I did it my way. That wasn't Two Live Crew. That was a great Frank Sinatra. You always have those people looking to see if you make a mistake so they can tell you about the mistake. But a mistake I don't make is you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV or you might just be sitting there looking at a still picture. There's nothing wrong with having a still picture. That's how the first motion picture was. They were made on a still picture. I remember seeing it in the movie Nope, and Jordan Peele, he actually talked about that at the first cinematography. It was a still picture. It was a person on a horse, if that makes sense to you. What did they say in Scarface when he told Scarface, he said, Frank, you hungry, Frank? Frank said, hungry? I'm so hungry, I can eat a horse. And Tony Montana said, you want a horse? We'll get you a horse. Be careful what you say around gangsters. They will give it to you. When they say it's finger licking good, you don't want to say that too loud around some gangsters. I want to also say to our veterans, I've been doing this since probably the last 5 years now. I love paying homage to our veterans with our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, anybody going through issues, they will stand on their head to get you some help. All you got to do is call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I need somebody to lean on. And what did Teddy Pendergrass say when somebody leaning on you? He said it's so good leaning on somebody when somebody's leaning back. We want the real Teddy. Please, Stephen, neighbor. Some of my neighbors don't like when I'm singing Teddy Pendergrass in the middle of the night. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I want to also say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. And just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. I love when God said that and gives God some praise. We just had yesterday, I was talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the I Have a Dream speech. And people praised him for the I Have a Dream speech. In fact, they said it's one of the most seminal speeches in the history of the universe. But what was conspicuously absent when Dr. King talked about the March on Washington in 1963, it was August 24th. But he said something that they don't play when they play Dr. King. I have a dream. He said, we coming to get our check. You know, the same one our Jewish brethren got. He said, we're coming to get our check. And mainstream will play that speech over and over and over again. In fact, they even play it for schools. You know what's conspicuously absent when they play the I Have a Dream speech? They don't like to hear the part where he said, we coming to get our check. Just like a lot of people, you put in a whole week's work. 9 to 5. What did Sally Parton say, working 9 to 5? And by the time you get to the end of the week, what do you want? You want a speech? No, you probably don't want a speech. You want a check. And when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we're coming to get our check. So why is it called the I Have a Dream speech if he said we're coming to get our check? You got to pay attention to the words. What did Chris Tucker say? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Dr. King gave that speech about getting a check. Mainstream made it about I have a dream. Because if you only have a dream that you're getting a check, it may not be real. I've had plenty of dreams. But I was getting a check. And then you wake up. And you go, where's the check? When you go to a restaurant and you order all the food that you probably don't need, by the time you're finished, ordering the food, they bring you the check. And when you want to pay for it, don't give them money. Say, I have a dream that someday. You don't sing, you give them the money, don't you? So the United States Congress, they need to do what Dr. King talked about. He said, we're coming to get our check. But mainstream has played it as if I have a dream. So you're not accountable for your dreams. You're accountable for the check. You can't tell the waiter, when the waiter comes to you and says, here's your order, and you ordered whatever you ordered, and here's your check. You got to pay up. You can't tell them, I don't have any money, but I have a dream. Because you don't have to pay for dreams. But you got to pay for what you consumed. In America from 1619 to 1865, it ate for free. Imagine someone sit down at your restaurant from 1619 to 1865, and when you bring the check, they say, I have a dream, and they don't pay you. And that's what happened to descendants of chattel slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation was supposed to give us a check. Try it sometime. Next time you go up to a restaurant and they bring you the bill and they say you ordered 5 things off the menu and the bill comes to $50. Try not pulling out a form of payment and start singing to the waiter. Say I don't have any money, but I have a dream. They don't have to pay you for your dreams. It's the labor that Dr. King was talking about. Maybe he could have expounded on it. But mainstream knows what they were doing. They call it the I have a dream speech. When he said we're coming to get our check. And they made it about a dream. Think about that next time you go out to a restaurant and you order food and you sit down and you eat it and they bring you the bill and you start telling them, I have a dream. They say, we need your check. Forget your dreams. And that's what reparations are for. Give reparations a praise because I too have a dream. And we got to make that happen. I love talking about that because it's real. And everybody knows it's real. In fact, on today's show, I want to do it a little bit different. Every day is a little bit different because I don't have scripts. I just go off the top of my mind. If it sticks in my mind and I can write it down, then I tend to remember it. If I don't write it down, then I may not remember it, which is oftentimes very good for men and young boys. If you remember everything, then you have no way out. You gotta tell people, I have a hard time remembering things. Then maybe they let you off the hook. But what I don't have a problem remembering, because I'll talk about reparations. I know a lot of people getting ready for football. They want to hear touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. And I love baseball too. But what I don't have a problem remembering is I want everyone to take this test. Take out your cell phone or electronic device, and we're gonna have a quiz. And on that quiz, you either pass or you fail. But I know sometimes when you're taking a test, it's nice to know the answers. So I'm telling Congress and all the attorneys and attorneys generals that want to pass reparations, because it's talked about in nearly every state now in the United States. I mean, it's out there now. It's what our Jewish brethren got. Oh, I don't know that about no reparations. Well, listen to this. Survivors Today Act of 2017. Google it. Survivors Today Act of 2017. Oh, there you go again with Googling. Well, Google it. You can even speak it into your phone. And then read out loud what it says. Because I didn't write it. It says the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017. Not 1917. Not 1817. Not 1617. Oh, slavery was a long time ago. 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress, not to Big C Sports, to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Black Americans. Black Americans, we don't see that. Well, you will soon. That's my dream. But this one says to compensate Holocaust survivors. and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. And soon it should say, the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2023 is United States of America legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 50 states in the United States of America have taken to compensate descendants of chattel slavery. Because the government took from us. They went to the restaurant, they ate all the goods and services. That means they even ordered seconds. They asked for the most expensive bottles of wine. And all that free labor. And if you're a waitress or a waiter and you come to deliver the check and say this is what your bill is, and they say I don't have any money but I do have a dream. And that's what the country's done with the I have a dream speech. It wasn't about the dream. He said we're coming to get our check. It should have been we're coming to get our check speech. Because you can't deny that. And when you don't pay at the restaurant, they will have the manager come out and talk to you and say, look, you ordered everything we got on the menu. What do you mean you don't want to pay for it? You say, oh, I'm gonna sing to you, I have a dream. They're not gonna tell you that that's sufficient funds. And that's what we're saying to Congress. Whatever people feel about reparations, the Justice Department of the United States of America, United States legislation, and Congress, you can Google it with your own phone. They made sure that our Holocaust survivors and heirs, they get their reparations. Why is it a problem when it comes to black Americans, descendants of chattel slavery? Oh, you can't say black. That's discrimination. Well, how about if they don't say black, then they say descendants of chattel slavery? Does that make sense? Because we got the U.S. Open going on. I'm in New York. I'm going to talk about that. They said nothing about reparations. Yet, it's as if, we don't want to talk about that. But they should. NFL football is kicking off. College football already kicked off. And I'm the only sports show that's talking about let's pay homage to President Abraham Lincoln. President Joe Biden sat down with some black Americans yesterday at the Oval Office and talked about the country's trying to go in a different direction, and we can't let that happen. So I need your vote. But what did Dr. King say as they were playing his speech? He said, we coming to get our check. But they emphasize, I have a dream. We got to do what's right. I already told you, Google Survivors Today Act of 2017 and give that some praise. And we praise our Jewish brethren and many Jewish brethren and lawmakers. They want to make sure that reparations happens for descendants of chattel slavery. And when people think, what's reparations means to repair, just Google it and make sure that we get that done. It's so important. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. My show is a little bit different, as you can probably tell by now. But I love paying homage to where I came from, because all life began on the African continent. And as I've been told as a young boy, maybe if you know where you come from, you respect your root a little better. We all got to know that. Black Americans helped end Hitler's reign during the Holocaust. And like the people at the restaurant that eat all the food, when it's time for the check, they want to sing I Have a Dream speech. And that's not what Dr. King was trying to do. He had to talk about things to make people understand. But I just hope, and I know it's happening because I'm not making this stuff up. The Reparations Task Force in California. I'm the only sports show in the universe that talks about it. Everybody else is acting like it's okay to go to a restaurant, sit down and eat the food and don't pay anybody. Don't even give a tip. But I'm telling you, and I know every lawmaker, they understand this. It's called the California Reparations Task Force. And had the final meeting on June 29, 2023 at 9 a.m. at the Secretary of State building. And why is Big C Sports the only sports show in the universe that talks about it? This is for descendants of chattel slavery. And I love the sports business, but most of our black brethren and white brethren too, they don't even talk about it. It's one of the most seminal meetings in the history of the United States, especially in California, the fourth largest economy in the world. And so I'm going to give them praise. I know you want to see who won the game. I know you want to see Sha'Carri Richardson do her thing on the tracks. But Sha'Carri Richardson, she's not paying out reparations to descendants of child of slavery. She don't have the right or the capacity. The lawmakers do. I know we want to see is LeBron James going to play with his son, Bronny James. LeBron James can't pay reparations. He didn't have the right or the power to. Is Steph Curry going to hit another three-point play? Steph Curry for three! Bang! He can't pay reparations. He didn't have the power to. Denzel Washington has another movie coming out. I was hoping it would be Reparations. Reparations now! Reparations forever! It's not about reparations. It's about being a tough guy, dealing with the mob. People got to do what they got to do. I just named a lot of well-known famous people. Why is Big C Sports the only one talking about things that would help descendants of child slavery? It's about the story in the Bible, the talents, where the master was going away for a few days, and he gave talents to three. You could call them wise men, I guess. They call them servants, whatever you want to call them. To one, he gave them 5 talents. I call that the famous people in our society. You know their names, household names. They make motion pictures. They're on cereal box. They're on TV all the time. Some of our athletes and entertainers, always on TV. And they don't talk about it. They talk about themselves. And then there's another servant, get 2 talents. That's like people that are successful in life. Some are maybe even well-known. Some are not as well-known. And they pretty much meander throughout society, having everything they want. And then there's one that the master gave 1 talent to. And I consider Big C Sports. Not that I'm not as talented as the one that got 5, but I'm doing more with less than those who got 5 talents. I don't have $1 billion budget. I don't have $100 million budget. Not yet, but it's coming. I don't have that. But Big C Sports Podcast does more for descendants of child slavery and everybody, because reparations will stimulate our economy. It will stimulate the economy. Who doesn't want the economy to be stimulated? It's amazing I can't find other people. Oh, they're gonna come after reparations pass. They're gonna say, I always believed in you. I knew you were doing the right thing. I always supported you through prayer. I have a dream that more people will. But Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, when I played it yesterday, would you believe I got little criticism from some people? Not a lot, but some. They say, Curry, how you dare play the I Have a Dream speech on the front part of your show? And then I said, because it was the most seminal speech given in 1963 for descendants of child slavery. Yeah, but why did you play it? Like, why did I not play it? Why didn't more people play it? It's a question. Why didn't other shows play it? Because in the first part of that check, of that speech, when he talked about President Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation, I didn't write it. He said, we're coming to get our check. Why haven't other news and TV shows and sports shows talked about that? They don't have to, but you better believe if they went and worked 40 hours a week, put in all that time for the employer, and they go to get their check, and the employer says, well, I don't have money for you, but I have a dream that someday you'll get paid. They wouldn't sit there and say, well, okay, I guess I'll just eat the air. I guess I'll just drink the air. I guess I won't have to worry about paying my bills. I guess I'll just sing and dance and shuck and jive. I guess I'll just go to sports games and cheer. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Oh, man, Willie! He's going all the way. If you look at most of our sports team owners, they were benefited by reparations. You got to Google that. You got to just know that. There are a lot of good people behind this. So I may be one of the few sports broadcasters in the world that talks about it, but I'm just very emboldened. I want to thank the Associated Press, Janie Har, She called Big C Sports. She called me, Charlton Curry, Big C Sports, asked me my thoughts on reparations. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, I heard you speak. And how she got my number? She got my number. You don't think they can find your number when reparations are ready? And I said, what made you call me? She said, you're not like the others. She could have called anybody else. There was about 500 people there at the meeting. And she said, what are your thoughts on reparations, Mr. Curry? I said, reparations now? Reparations forever? You know, just like Dr. King said, we're coming to get our check. But mainstream, they acted like he said, I have a dream. It's even called the I have a dream speech. But Dr. King said, I came to get my check. You think about that when you watch it again. I want to give praise to the California Reparations Task Force, Attorney Camila Moore, the chair, a reparative justice lawyer, brilliant. I want to give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown, vice chair, brilliant. I want to give praise to the best senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford, brilliant. Had conversations with all of them. Even took pictures with all of them. I was like a groupie. But I really believe in the work they're doing. Council member Monica Montgomery Stephey, brilliant. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Dr. Cheryl Grills, brilliant. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley, brilliant. And Donald K. Tamaki, brilliant. I want to give them all praise. Nobody else does. I mean, I've listened to sports shows, and they act like they don't even care. They want to sell you shoes. There's got to be the shoes, man. They want to sell you cars, sandwiches. They want to sell everything except for the descendants of chattel slavery, what they counted on the most as they worked from birth to death, from cradle to grave, without compensation. And nobody talks about it but me. What do they think of us? That we go to movies and cheer on people that don't even talk about what they went through. Our Jewish brethren understand what I'm saying. And it's time that more and more intelligent people start. If you're just a dumb person, you know, keep your mouth closed. But if you're intelligent and you can Google the Survivors Today Act of 2017 and read what it says, we need our Justice Department and Congress to listen to what President Abraham Lincoln said. He knew that black Americans were treated like crap, raped, murdered, lynched, burned, set on fire, children sold off from white man to white man to white family to work for free from 1619 to 1865. President Biden knows it too. It's America's biggest sin. And nobody talks about it. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. No, it's not. A check. Give that some praise. You go to get your paycheck after working 40 hours a week and they give you a diamond? Might be cubic zirconia. You want a diamond or do you want a check? You want your check. You want your check. And you definitely don't want a speech. And that's why I'm so emboldened of the 1,100-page report that the task force recommends for major reparations. It's not just Big C. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love praising my family, as I always do, because that's where I came from. You think I talk loud now? Imagine what it was like when I didn't want to go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm singing reparations now, reparations forever. My parents are like, boy, will you calm down? I said, but I'm having a dream. If that makes sense to you. On my beautiful mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mamo, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. My beautiful great-grandfather called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. He also wanted the reparations. My beautiful grandmother called him Mud Deer, beautiful, loving, kind woman. A seer could look at a person, know a lot about their past, present, and their future. My beautiful great, and she still helps me to this day. People call it intuition. There's sometimes when my stomach just bubbling over, and it's intuition. She keeps me out of trouble, if that makes sense to you. She warns me of good things, like going into a room and you see the sign, it says 0/O. Only my mama knows what that means, and a very few other people in the world. But that's a sign from God. I love giving God praise. You know you're on the right track when God gives you clues. When you're around the right people, God gives you clues. Really appreciate my grandmother. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful man. A seer could oftentimes look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, present, and their future. Really do appreciate him. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Hair Start program, a food program, and they coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful, on my father's side, my beautiful grandfather, called him Albert Curry, former pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd church in Central California. He also owned 2 gas stations, but he owns 40 acres of land. It was like the Emancipation Proclamation. How would he even known that his grandson would be talking about the Emancipation Proclamation? I mean, I look at the clues for that. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my grandfather, with the 2 churches in Oakland, building the 3rd one in Central California, and running the 2 gas stations. But I was walking through a hallway. I was 8 years old. Never forget it. I was on my way. She thought I was going to get some more cookies. And she touched me on my forehead. I said, how in the world is she up at 10 o'clock at night? She normally goes to bed at 8:30. I don't know, because my brothers and I would wait till she started snoring. That was our clue. But we still waited. And as I was tiptoeing down the hallway, she touched me and she said, what are you doing, young man? You're on your way to get some more cookies? I said, cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing. I'm going to get more reparations. She thought it was funny. But I'll never forget that. And then I want to say my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure the airplanes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. In fact, he never got his reparations either. And then my beautiful brother, I love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful brother, Todd, with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning. There's a book called Ottoman Centuries. I think it's written by Lloyd Kendross. And people should read that book. It's a thick book. It's a good read. But Todd always saying, go forward. And it's amazing. Todd's still with me to this day. I love him with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years. From a major university with honors. She set up the very first interview for Big C Sports. As I keep saying to God, I praise God to become a $1 billion company. And I know it's going to happen, but she set up the very first interview. Back at Salem Media, one of the top media companies in the United States. And she also helped me set up when college coaches would come to the West Coast. Would you believe that for the first time in the history of the United States, NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network? It's because of 2 black men in the crew. It never happened before. They usually go to ESPN. I still got the letter from station management called us the Dream Team. At the same time, some good old boys said if 2 N-words can do it, they can be insurrectionists, and they created shenanigans and the show went away, but I'm still rising, and I want to give God praise because I'm still rising, and I will always do the best that I can to tell you things that you can Google. You don't have to believe anything I say. If you can't Google it, just don't believe me. But I ask to do the same thing to other people. And then my beautiful Daisy, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. I always pray Isaiah 54:17 that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You can be anything you want to be. And then my beautiful handsome son Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, a senior in college, very smart, erudite. Really do appreciate you, Malcolm. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get the newspapers and look up stats for players and teams for Big C Sports Podcast. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, he said, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. And now I'm on 28 podcast platforms, which is more than anybody out there, and 4 TV platforms. Of course, I want more money than anybody else out there, but my show is factual. I don't have the robots helping me do a lot of things that other shows have. I just want to say, I really do appreciate you, Malcolm. You can be anything you want to be. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. And you'll see your show come up. He said that before it was even on the air. And within about a month's time, I got a call saying, we're going to run your show on streaming now. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I get that praise. My son talked about it before it happened. And then Big C, Malcolm, I love you with everything I got. Isaiah 55:17. Read it. No weapon formed against it will prosper. And then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, saying let's get ready to rumble. I love saying, welcome to the show and nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-way teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. But I did find a little bit of earwax. Why they give us Q-tips when Q-tips, I'm not saying the brand, but this cotton swab, they put stuff in your ear. I took a bobby pin, man, I pulled out enough wax to make a pancake. Okay, a small pancake, but I pulled it out. I was pushing it in with the Q-tip, pulling it out with a bobby pin. Just be careful, don't push it in all the way. I want to get into, so give that some praise. You know it's funny. I want to say Coco Gauff hot streak continues at the 2023 U.S. Open. And when you think about it, number 6 seed, the great Coco Gauff, she opened up the 2023 U.S. Open campaign under the lights at the great Arthur Ashe Stadium Monday night in dramatic fashion with a comeback win over qualifier Laura Schiedman of Germany. It was 3-6, 6-2, and 6-4, and she advanced to the second round in a match that Gauff's newly recruited coaching consultant Brad Gilbert might have called winning ugly, if that makes sense to you, but the American had to dig deep. She had to dig her way out of a one-set deficit in which Sigmund seemingly had an airtight game, deflated the number 6 seed for the better part of the first hour. A two-time U.S. Open doubles champion, 35-year-old Sigmund brought an attacking brand of tennis early in the first set, taking the first break of the match to boost her to a 4-2 advantage against her 19-year-old opponent. But she kept fighting. Isn't that amazing? Even though she was down, she was not out. And the great Coco Gauff obviously had some conversation with the official about some things that Sigmund was taking too long to serve. But she fought through it. Is one of the hottest players in the women's tour heading into the U.S. Open. Gauff's summer swing saw her win 11 of 12 matches, during which she dropped only 3 sets. And she's been amazing. And I just want to give her some praise, because tennis is a tough sport. I still wish, as we pay homage to Arthur Ashe, that they would at least talk about reparations, even just a little bit, because we need to have that happen. I know a lot of us are sidetracked by sports. We let sports overtake some things that we should be talking about more, in my opinion. But not everybody cares about reparations when you got several $1 million in the bank. But it's for everybody. That's why I say Big C Sports is the #1 sports show in the universe. Because I'm the only sports show that honors the late great President Abraham Lincoln. Oh, Big C, you always asking for reparations. I'm just trying to honor what President Abraham Lincoln did. And it takes a few good people to put that together. And we know it's going to happen because there's a lot of good people in this country that want to champion reparations. Give that some praise. I want to also talk about the great Simone Biles. She makes history at the U.S. Gymnastics Championship with an 8th all-around title. The gymnast, so beautiful, so precise, so driven. And think about what she's done after winning a record 8th all-around national title at the U.S. Gymnastics Championship. I really hope that someday, it's not just me. When people say, how does it feel after winning? What do you want to say to the people? I want them to say reparations now, reparations forever. And then go into your own personal things, but that's just my opinion. But the woman that most people consider the greatest gymnast of all times, she keeps adding to her amazing legacy. The great Simone Biles. She won a record 8th national all-around title with a strong performance Sunday at the U.S. Gymnastics Championship in the great San Jose, California, also known as Dim Deer Hills. She's only 26 years old. Also became the oldest woman to ever win the championship when she finished at 3.9 points ahead of Shalise Jones, the all-around silver medalist at the 2022 U.S. World Championships. Give that some praise. To see how graceful she is, it's amazing, and she's only 26. The 8th title for Simone Biles breaks the record she shared with Alfred Jochim, who won his 7th all-around gold medal 90 years ago in 1933. Isn't that something? It's a special thing that she's able to do. She's not lucky, she's good. Even after a long absence from major competition, the great Simone Biles, she showed that she was very confident in her performance, and the 4-time Olympic gold medalist dominated the field Friday. And Sunday, she locked up the all-around crown with a 15.400 in her breathtaking floor exercise. It's amazing when you see the agility of these gymnasts. These young, beautiful 9 Series DNA, I want to give her some praise. And after she exited the floor to a rousing ovation from the crowd, her teammates and coaches were waiting to give her an embrace. When her teammate Jordan Chills took the floor to perform her routine, she waved her arms to the crowd to continue to give Simone Biles a much-deserved ovation as I do on Dixie Sports. But if I were in the crowd, I would have been chanting, reparations now, reparations forever, in honor of the late, great President Abraham Lincoln, the country's 16th president. It's important that we just know the history so we can all overcome and not just have a dream, but get our check. How important is the check? Think about that the next time you go to get paid. You don't want a dream, you want your check. Everybody believes in her throughout the country. 8-time champion. That's amazing. She talked about having to believe in herself like a lot of people do. And everybody has a belief that we can be whatever we want to be. And most people don't cheer you until you win. If you try and you fail, people don't cheer you. They don't even know you tried. That's just the way life is. This country rewards people. What did Mike Singletary say? I want winners. I want people who want to win. But he was a coach of the 49ers. But Simone Biles, great achievement. Really do appreciate her. And she continues to return to competitive gymnastics after a 2-year hiatus following the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, when she pulled out of several events suffering from what is known as the twisties, a mental block causing a gymnast to lose track of their positions in midair. Imagine doing the somersault, twisting, how many times you can twist in the air, and not knowing where you are. And so that can cause a lot of stress on an athlete. I've seen people fall down trying to go across the sidewalk. Imagine being in the air for a few seconds, twisting and turning your body, and you got to come down on the balance beam. Throughout competition, the great Biles, it seemed like it was effortlessly, but she's very powerful, accomplished, beautiful, determined. But her routines, no other gymnast has ever done that in the history of the universe. And she's still a young woman. So on Sunday, she started with a solid 14.85 on the vault. And later, she is seen getting her ankles taped between events. She scored 14.050 on the uneven parallel bars. And then Biles, the 14.85 on the balance beam, and grew her lead, and she wrapped up the floor title on the floor, where she won 1 Olympic gold and 5 world titles. Isn't that something? A young woman, not only being in shape year-round, they can't take time off, but to do that at such a young age, I just really appreciate it. Simone Biles is the most decorated gymnast in the history of the universe, at least in the United States. In medals, think about that, winning 32 medals across the Olympics. 32 in the World Championships. With that win, Simone Biles, she earned a place in the World Championships, which are scheduled to start September 30 in Antwerp, Belgium. So much talent in a small frame, but her determination and her persistence, it pays off. I want to give her praise. Everybody has their own thoughts about what it takes to be great at anything. But she went out there and put in the work, and she's still rising and shining. So we're just like Coco Gauff. They're out there trying to prove something to themselves, that they can be anything they want to be. It's not always easy. And just like a gymnast or a boxer or someone running track and field, it's just you against the world. Sha'Carri Richardson, other than running the relay event, you only count on you. That's what I love about the individual sports. I love it very much, and I'm really proud of her. I want to give her some praise. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the things going on in the world of the NFL. I know everybody has their own thoughts about NFL players. But the Patriots trade kicker Nick Folks to the Tennessee Titans. I mean, people got to make roster moves, and it's just part of what happens in the world of sports. Just because you're on an NFL roster, it doesn't mean that you're going to stay on that roster. You look at the Patriots, they waived quarterback Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham. Everybody has the desire to play at whatever sport they want to play. And then for the Buffalo Bills, sources say that Von Miller stays on the physically unable to perform list. And you have DeMar Hamlin. He's on the roster that suffered cardiac arrest last year in a game at Cincinnati. Give praise to medical doctors. They saved that young man's life, and now he's back on the field, on the team. But this is what a lot of players in the NFL, they have to wrestle with all the time. On Tuesdays also becomes official that safety DeMar Hamlin made the Bills' active roster of 53 players. I want to give some praise, especially how he ended the season last year in an ambulance. And now he's back on the roster. He's going to continue his journey, coming back from suffering cardiac arrest January 2nd during a regular season game against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been unlocked to make the team's roster for multiple weeks based on his performance. And it's amazing what medical science can do. I love giving medical science praise. They know how to help you if they get to you in time. And that's what I love about seeing that young man being able to play a game that he loves. And hopefully he'll have success at it also. I just love when seeing young people come back from issues or pain. It's not always easy, but they have that fight that makes them believe they can do anything. And I just want to wish him the best. I know that was a tough, it was tough for everybody. A lot of people were crying to see one of their teammates laid out on the ground and not knowing the outcome. And now because of medical science, he's back. Give beanbags some praise. This offseason, the Buffalo Bills added a former teammate, the pass rushing room, the veteran Leonard Floyd. And then Tuesday, Buffalo traded 2021 second-round pick Boogie Bishop to the New York Giants, moving on from one of the team's young pass rushers in the rotation. Buffalo will rely on the likes of Floyd. And Floyd's a good player, has a lot of speed, knows how to play the game, knows how to attack the ball. But in this rate of NFL football players, you got to stay healthy. There's so many people that have the ability to get medical treatment coming back from a calamity. Wouldn't that be great if mainstream society was that way? To get knocked down and get back up again. It's amazing what NFL athletes go through. I look at Floyd, a 2021 first-round pick, and 2020 second-round pick A.J. Espinoza. In Miller's absence, Miller had remained steadfast in his goal to return for the Monday Night Football season opener against the New York Jets, and that's September 11. Imagine what the electricity would be like in that crowd when we pay homage to what happened in September 11th. Sad day in American history. And then his teammates remained with the team throughout the training camp, including working out to the side of practice a majority of the days. In 2013, Miller tore his left ACL, but he returned for the start of the 2014 season with the Denver Broncos. Athletes have a tough time staying healthy at times, and people got to know that whatever it is that keeps them going and keeps them fighting through, I want to give them praise because it's not easy to get banged up and then come back in, if that makes sense to you. I want to also congratulate another running back because oftentimes running backs don't get the same type of praise that a quarterback gets, of course. The New York Jets, Dalvin Cook, he practices, declares himself ready for week 1. Remember, good old boy out of Florida State, made a living with the Minnesota Vikings, didn't get what he needed there, decided to go to New York City, and the Jets, Dalvin Cook, he practices and says he's ready for game 1. Recently signed with the New York Jets, eager to find out his role in the Jets offense. Now you have touchdown Aaron Rodgers under the center. And whatever it is, he expects to form a dynamic tandem with Breece Hall, who came out of Iowa State. 2 similar style running backs. And the talent that Breece Hall has, the young talent he has, we're going to be something special together. Cook said that today. I think the Jets will have a pretty good team. I think they're going to have a good team this year, especially with Aaron Rodgers. So Cook practiced for the first time since he finalized a 1 year. It was a $7 million contract on August 14th, declaring afterward that he did everything in practice and will be ready for the season opener against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. It also took long to get on the field because he returned to South Florida for the birth of his first child, and we want to give his wife some praise if that makes sense to you. The birth of his first child. He also was held back because of his left shoulder, which was surgically repaired in February, and the Jets wanted to give him some extra time before putting him in team drills. And I just want to say to all of the people out there that make athletes healthy, it's one thing to watch the physical toll that it takes on your body, but there's a medical team that goes with every crew, with every team, and they make sure that people are healthy. There's nothing like having trainers that know how to massage you the right way, how to do whatever ultrasound they got to do, whatever hot and cold treatment they give you. They have some stuff they can put in your body called Hurt No More that helps take away the pain. And when you think about athletes, one of the big questions surrounding the Jets is how they would deploy Cook and Hall. I say put them in the field at the same time. They can both catch the ball out of the backfield. They're north-south runners. I think it makes their offense dangerous, especially with a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers at the helm deciding who to throw to. He's just 10 months removed from an ACL surgery. That's how good medical science is now. You can tear your ACL, and 30 years ago, you would have been done. Not now. Within a year, they can get you back in the saddle. We've seen it with Kevin Durant with his Achilles tear when he played for the Warriors. Got back in the saddle. A year and a half later, played with the Brooklyn. We saw it even with Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant. He tore his Achilles back in the day, but it wasn't his last play as an NBA player. And there are NFL players that get hurt all the time. And because the medical science is so great, players don't have to end their career because of it. It's amazing. And then Cook said he has a great skill set, comes with a unique skill set. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can also explode and be explosive at any position on the offense. Just looking forward to how they use him. Now, the Breece Hall, I remember him at Iowa State. He returned to practice 2 weeks ago, but did not play in the preseason. He has not played a game since October 23rd when he suffered a season-ending knee injury against the Denver Broncos. So the current plan is to play him in the opener, but the Jets will be cautious. But the fact that he's able to come back and play, that's important. You have Jets coach Robert Saleh said he's very excited. He wants to see him just go out there and play, and we need to be smart about it. We need to be diligent, and I think his mind, he probably feels like he can take 30 touches, but we just got to be smart with him and make sure that we're communicating with him. A lot of athletes, you got to save them from themselves. If you remember in the great movie Rocky, where the crew member saying, throw in the towel, throw in the towel. You got to throw in the towel when your boxer is being beaten up. A lot of athletes, they don't throw in the towel. They try to play through pain. And that's where the coaching staff and the assistant coaches, they got to make sure that you're there, making sure that players don't hurt themselves. It's not like the days of the great Ronnie Lott, where he had an injury to his finger, and rumor has it he bit some of his finger off. Maybe it was just a fingernail that he bit off. I don't know many men that would bite their finger off, except for some of the guys that I eat chicken wings with. One guy was eating chicken wings. He said, "My goodness, this is so good, but I haven't tasted this flavor ever." We said, "Hey, Jeffro, you're missing your pinky finger." He still didn't finish eating that chicken. He said the chicken wings were too good. He can always get a new finger. He can clone his finger. But the chicken wings were good. But that's my story that I'm sticking with it. I love NFL football. Give that some praise. Everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid this time of year. And I just want to really appreciate the United States women for winning the championship in the 4x100 meter relay. And then the great Sha'Carri Richards. She's such an amazing athlete, has her own style. Reminds me a lot of Flojo back in the day when Florence Griffith joined her. Flojo was doing her thing at the Olympics in Los Angeles, 84 Olympics. Has a fashion statement when she runs with her beautiful fingernails, whatever hairstyle she wears, and then she's very fit. And that's what, to me, is a marketing symbol. She's her own marketing symbol, and I'm proud of that. But hopefully, some of these athletes, as they start waking up and having more consciousness, they'll start saying reparations now, reparations forever. That's my story. Well, as I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can call a cab, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't drink and drive. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? I always say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All these Big C burgers make me light on my feet, and that's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee, and I'm always rumbling, rumbling, rumbling. My beautiful mother always says there's never, ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. You know anybody going through that garbage? Pick up the phone and call 911. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Now's the time we honor President Abraham Lincoln, and even Dr. King when he said, "I dream," he come to get his check. What did President Abraham Lincoln give us? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. I know a lot of people don't cheer for that the way they should. Cheer it as if you just won a game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I'll say it one more time, as if you just helped your team win the big game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.